Well, folks, when you start looking at what's happening in this country, especially when it comes to the poll numbers showing how abysmal Americans feel about Democrats, including African Americans. We had Adrian Shropshire on with Black Pac. They want to see people fight. They want to see fighters. They want to see them standing up. And Senator Cory Booker took to the floor of the United States Senate today, speaking about this very issue. Watch this.
This is what frustrates me. I've passed numerous pieces of legislation for our police officers. I partnered with Chuck Grassley, the incredible senator from Iowa, on a bill very similar to the one I support about police officers who fall in the line of duty. In this case, it was COVID. Police officers who got COVID and died had difficulty proving it was a line of duty death. We passed the legislation to make sure those families get the benefits. I've worked in bipartisan ways and within my own party to make sure we get resources to our police officers. I don't need lectures about the urgency of this. One of my childhood best friends, a police officer in a small town in New Jersey, after a hard day's work, before he even went home to see his family, died by suicide. I don't need somebody implying in any way that this is not vital to me and my state, that we have resources for our police officers. That's why I support this package. That's why I'm a co-sponsor of some of the bills in this package. But what I am tired of is when the President of the United States of America violates the Constitution, trashes our norms and traditions. And what does the Democratic Party do? Comply? Allow him? Beg for scraps? No, I demand justice. Somebody's implying that this to me is not about resources for my state. I will fight for Jersey every day, every night. And when it comes to the police officers of my state, anybody who implies that something is going on other than my allegiance and fealty to the safety, strength, and protection of my police officers because they protect me and everybody in this body. This is a call, folks. The Democratic Party needs a wake-up call. I see law firms bending a knee to this president, not caring about the larger principles, that those free speech rights, that you could take on any client, why are you bending the knee? I see universities that should be bastions of free speech bending at the knee to this president. I see businesses taking late-night talk show hosts off the air because they dare to insult a president. I see people who want mergers suddenly think that they have to pay tribute to this president. And what are the very people here elected to defend the Constitution of the United States saying, oh, well, today, let's look the other way and pass some resources that won't go to Connecticut, that won't go to Illinois, that won't go to New York, that will go to the states he likes. That is complicity with an authoritarian leader who is trashing our Constitution. It's time for Democrats to have a backbone. It's time for us to fight. It's time for us to draw lines. And when it comes to the safety of my state being denied these grants, that's why I'm standing here. Don't question my integrity. Don't question my motives. I'm standing for Jersey. I am standing for my police officers. I'm standing for the Constitution, and I'm standing for what's right. And dear God, if you want to come at me that way, you're going to have to take it up with me, because there's too much on the line right now in America. As people's due process rights and freedom of the speech rights and secret police are running around this country, picking people up off the streets who have a legal right to be here. There's too much going on in this country. When are we going to stand together for principles that I just heard that we're agreed with? When are we going to stand together? If we don't stand as Democrats, we deserve to lose. But if we stand united, if we stand strong, if we stand with other people, if we tell with a chorus of conviction in America what this president is doing is wrong, if we stand up and speak that way, dear God, we will win. Like all of those people at our ancestors who joined hands together and said, we shall overcome. No, not on my watch. I'm protecting Jersey today. I'm protecting our Constitution today. I'm standing today.
Okay. A lot of righteous indignation and anger there. Now remember, this was more than a week ago when the Republicans, now you just heard Senator Cory Booker call Senator Chuck Grassley an incredible United States Senator. But I remember this happening just more than a week or so ago.
With all appeals to your integrity, with all appeals to past jurisdiction and past precedent, why are you doing this? This is outrageous.
This is a kangaroo court. That's all we have here,
This
Mr.
is
Chairman.
wrong. To violate your own rules without going by the mandates of the parliamentarian. This is unbelievable. There's a way to do this. If you want to force this through, if you want to ram this through, there's a way to do it in accordance to the rules as spelled out by the parliamentarian. It is simple. It is clear. There's a pathway to achieve what you're trying to achieve. But, sir, this lacks decency. It lacks decorum. It shows that you do not want to simply hear from your colleagues. This is absolutely wrong. And sir, this is to me one of those moments where we are not showing common respect for each other on both sides. I have sat here when we were in the majority and listened to my colleagues' arguments, listened to their passionate statements, and then we voted. This is not that. This is us simply trying to rush through one of the most controversial nominees we've had.
Now, in that video, you heard Senator Cory Booker talk about, I know your heart, you're a good man, Senator Chuck Grassley. Grassley didn't give a shit. He kept doing it. Now, one of the dumbest United States senators, I think he's probably the dumbest, Tommy Tuberville. Between him and Tennessee's Marsha Blackburn, tight ass race to be the dumbest, okay? But he tweeted this today. Check this out, y'all. He tweeted, when a new coach is hired, they get to pick their team. It's that simple. 77 million Americans pick President Trump to lead our country, and yet radical Democrats continue to block over 150 of his nominees. Ridiculous. It's time we buckle up and get POTUS's team confirmed. I'm sorry, is this the same Tommy Tuberville who blocked the nominees of President Joe Biden? I'm sorry, is my memory serving me correct? Let's see here. Tuberville blocks Biden nominees. Let's see here. Oh, wow. The Tuberville military blockade is Republicans' mess to solve, Biden says. Yet GOP lawmakers have mostly avoided confronting the senator on his procedural hold. That's right here. Look at this here. Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville is single-handedly blocking more than 270 military promotions over the Pentagon's policy of paying for service members to travel to seek abortions. The months-long hold has already left the Marine Corps without a Senate-confirmed leader for the first time in 100 years. The Army, Navy, and Joint Chiefs will be in a similar position in a matter of weeks if the issue is not resolved. Oh, wow. Same thing. So here's my whole point. I appreciate the impassioned speech from Senator Cory Booker. I appreciate the righteous indignation and the anger. I appreciate all of that. But here's my question. How is Senator Cory Booker making Republicans pay? How? I get speeches. What I want to know is, how are you making them pay? I get the speech that broke Senator Strom Thurmond's record for the longest floor speech, and when he was done, they went ahead and moved forward anyway. But the point I'm making is this here. You have to make them pay. There has to be a penalty paid for what they're doing. And that's the problem. Now, let me unpack this again. A lot of y'all don't like Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Oh, he ain't tough enough. The reality is, he can't do anything. He can't. House rules are not the same as Senate rules. Democrats can shut it down. Democrats can literally say, ain't nothing moving. Nothing. No nominees. Matter of fact, if I had to pull up, let's see, Dems put hold on Trump nominees. Let's see what comes up in Google. 13 hours ago on the Hill, Democrats turn routine Trump nominees into pitched partisan battles. And it says right here, Democrats are retaliating against President Trump's brought us up, blah, 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 forcing Senator Majority Leader John Thune to burn up the calendar on routine matters. Okay, so let's see here. Okay. Some Democrats agreed to move directly to a vote to confirm then Senator Marco Rubio as Secretary of State only hours after Trump was sworn in to his second term in office. But since then, they have insisted on holding procedural votes to invoke closure on the next 106 nominees who came to the floor. Thune is calling it Democrats' obstruction. Republicans say the Democrats' tactics are a significant departure from how Republicans treated President Biden's nominees during the 4 years Democrats controlled the White House and Senate, when approximately 60% of Biden's nominees were approved by unanimous consent. And it's even a striking contrast compared to Trump's first term. Republicans say when approximately 50% of Trump's nominees were approved by unanimous consent. Thune complains Democrats have not allowed a single civilian Trump nominee to pass by unanimous consent or a voice vote, even when Democrats have ultimately ended up supporting the nomination in significant numbers, calling a historic level of obstruction. So let's start right there. This is what Senator Booker should have said. No Democrat should cast a single vote for any Trump nominee if this is how y'all gonna do business. Senator Cory Booker himself, he's voted for some Trump nominees. See, if you're going to play the shut it down game, shut it down. Shut it down. I'm not sure, though, Mustafa, that they are willing to go that far. And that is the problem.
Well, you said a lot right there, because you got to go toe to toe and blow for blow in what's currently going on up on Capitol Hill. And unfortunately, it just seems like folks don't have the stomach for it. Now, full disclosure, Senator Booker and I have known each other for a long time. We're friends. We've had deep conversations about, when you got to stand up and push back. And this is one of those moments where, they're not playing by any rules. So whatever tools that you have, you got to take advantage of those. And the reason you got to take advantage of those is because many of these nominees who have gotten in, I don't know all the nominees, but I've followed many of them. One, they are unqualified for the positions that they hold. Two, the policies that they're moving forward on are very dangerous policies for overall for our country, but especially for folks of color. And when you really unpack it, for Black folks. So when you sign off on these types of things, when you don't do everything that's in your power, then that sends a message to the folks not only who sent you there, but the folks who are being the most impacted, the most vulnerable, the ones who are being sacrificed. So I have very high expectations for folks who ask for my vote and who I give my vote to. And folks just got to get it together, because in this moment, there are no regular rules that are being played out. There is no cordiality that's currently going on. These folks are literally trying to push through some of the most dangerous pieces of legislation and sets of actions in the history of our country, or at least since I've been following the history of our country.
You literally have to go scorched earth, because that's what they're doing.
Yes. I just am so frustrated, because it seems as if we don't understand the game that we're in. It's like we're playing by a different set of rules. Booker used the words of decency. He used common respect. They've shown him that they don't have any respect for us. They've shown him that they don't have decency. So why are we trying to play nice in a battle? This is a battle. These people have clearly shown us that they are our enemies, and we're sitting there trying to be appropriate as if we're at tea and we're at a mud fight. So I agree with you 1000%, Roland, that we need to make it hurt, make it difficult for them, tell them what you are and are not going to do. Action is what we need right now. Yes, a speech, an impassioned speech is nice. We need to get the message to the American people. But at the end of the day, quite frankly, I don't want to hear you calling people good and decent and kind and giving them this respect when they aren't respecting you, they're not respecting democracy, and they're not respecting the American people whatsoever. It is time to stop playing nice. It's over. Ring the bell and let's just get be willing to get a little dirty.
I don't understand. Listen, I get this whole my colleague, the honorable. I get all that sort of stuff. I get the language that they use. But Democrats don't play hardball. It has to be clear hardball. This is, and again, I appreciate his speech. I need Senator Cory Booker himself to come out and say, Joe, I'm shutting it all down. Be vocal about it. This is where you hit them every single day. Senator, you gonna lift? No. Change this? No. Not doing it. No. So again, I don't want to hear speeches. I want to see action.
I think where you are now is that your situation is different than what you wanted it to be. Ideally, this chamber is cordial, and there are certain things that we do and certain ways that we treat ourselves. Well, what that assumes when he acts the way that he does, where he's hot cold. Sometimes they're adamant and determined and with righteous indignation, and other times, the conservative from Iowa is a great colleague. It assumes that underlying that there's this goodness that overshadows all the unconstitutional law breaking, all of the issues that we're watching, that the Senate is certainly complicit in, and oftentimes facilitating, even advancing some of these nominees that are potentially being advanced, that have no business being in the positions that they're being appointed for, starting with some of the people that were in the cabinet, attorney general, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you understand that those days are over for the time being, we can figure out whether or not they'll come back. But there has to be this honesty about the fact that this Senate that Cory Booker longs for is long gone because of their support of the president, their support of unconstitutionality, them being complicit and often working with the president to undermine people's rights, to take things from the least of us, et cetera. If those days are over, you treat them like they're over. Once you understand that, then it becomes easier to say no all the time and lessen until something different happens. But he's got to be honest about the fact that this Senate and this cordiality that he's hoping for the time being is gone.
Yeah, again, all this is cute, but we have to make them pay. And these people, they operate with impunity. They are literally hiring thugs. They are literally hiring whoever's a friend with Trump. They are getting, what we're seeing in every front. We're seeing them screw the American people when it comes to everything. We're seeing them, Trump, forgiving people when it comes to the issue of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Oh, you owe people? Don't worry about it. You don't have to pay. Don't worry about it. Settlements? Don't worry about it. And again, they're firing lawyers in the government who disagree. The Department of Justice literally fired an antitrust lawyer because he pushed back on letting a company off the hook. Not only that, if we're sitting here talking about what's going on, even when it comes to the environment, it's a perfect example of what's going on and how utterly ridiculous these people are. They are right now changing climate change rules, rolling back the landmark findings that greenhouse gas emissions pose a threat to public health. That's right. And so Trump's, they want to repeal all greenhouse gas emissions and, of course, standards when it comes to light, medium, and heavy-duty vehicles that follow the endangerment finding. They don't care. They are all about making money for corporations and rich people, Mustafa, period. You cannot be nice when they are doing this.
And you can't be nice when people are literally getting sick and people are dying, and it's going to continue to expand. You know, when you talk about the endangerment findings and them rolling that back, all you got to do is look today across the country. There's extreme heat that's going on. People are literally dying because of the extreme heat. People are dying because of fossil fuels that are being burned. Harvard had a study a few years ago that said over 350,000 people are dying prematurely because of the burning of fossil fuels, because of all that pollution that folks continue to breathe in. And we know that it is black folks and brown folks, indigenous folks, and even some lower wealth white communities who are the ones who are continuing to carry these burdens, but they don't care about them. We also know when they rolled this endangerment finding back because of all the various climate crises that are going to happen, it's going to be more difficult to grow food in many locations. So therefore, once again, as they are slashing people's ability to be able to get the nutrition that they need, it's going to be even more difficult. People's electricity bills for their air conditioning are going to go up. So all of these things are tied together, and these people don't care because it is all about profit over people.
Yeah, that's all it is. And the language that Democrats should be using is that very language. I mean, to me, I don't understand, Joe. This ain't that damn hard. It ain't complicated. They should be hitting them every day, and they should be going to Republican districts saying, hey, your rep, all he care about are rich folks.
It kind of connects to the point you were talking about a little bit earlier about Democrats aren't seen as the people that fight. Folks want you to fight for them. And there's plenty to fight for. There's plenty to let people know that you're fighting for. And so this would seem to be the time, if there ever was one, I don't know, when the Republicans is at stake, when democracy is being undermined, when unconstitutional things are being done as a matter of course, and when court orders are being ignored, et cetera, and to tell the story of the Senate's complicity in that. And so I think that we have to make a decision that we're going to fight, we're going to go to the mat, and what comes, because ultimately you're fighting for the republic itself. And I would like to think that enough people understand that it is no longer an overstatement or jumping to a conclusion or getting ahead of ourselves for us to say that. We literally have things happening that undermine the fabric of the republic. So at the end of the day, Donald Trump is seen as a fighter. And we need to be seen as fighters as well. I think we can talk in fourth grade language, but still talk common sense, not undermine people's intelligence and integrity. So there's a path and there's a route that we're not always taking because we're not willing to take the gloves off. And that's probably what needs to change for us. It's definitely what needs to change for us now, because if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it?
Yeah, Randy, it's called kicking ass and taking names and not apologizing for it.
And that's what we need to see. We are desperate to have someone fighting for us, and we need to see that we haven't been forgotten about, because clearly the Republicans are not thinking about us, and we need to see that the Democrats are fighting for us because we see that everything is crumbling. And so this is more, as we said in the past, like not just speeches, but take the arguments home, show and say, hey, if this is passed, this company is going to make this much. This is going to damage the environment in this ways. This is going to affect your children in this many ways. You want to know why more kids have asthma in your area? This is why. I mean, make it clear to the American people about how all of these decisions will affect them, why it's bad, and call the Republicans on the carpet. Right now, I think people are so overwhelmed, they don't even understand exactly what's happening. So we need to point it out. This contributor to Trump's campaign will make $2 billion from this deal. This what's happening with the Tesla plant. They're going to make this much. This is how many companies are involved. And this is the impact it is going to have on our city or on our state. This is how it will affect you at your home and your family. And we're not going to stand for it. Make people get up in arms. If we have someone to lead us to the fight and tell us why we're fighting and give us some ammunition, I believe everyone is ready to push back and to resist. But we need to know that we're being led, that somebody cares and somebody is fighting for us. And not just with speeches, but actually bring it home to us.
If you're going to swing, you're going to swing. And that's what you got to do.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.